deeper than music. The core of you, the fans, the truth is deeper than music, deeper than music. Simply the truth is the latest, the newest, deeper than music, deeper than music. The core of you, the fans, the truth is deeper than music, deeper than music. Simply the truth is the latest, the newest, deeper than music, deeper than music.
What up to everybody on internet land listening on the worldwide internet. This is your man Furious, Deeper Than Music Radio. Behind every great song, there's an even greater story. Like to say what's up on this Friday. About to get this weekend started right. And today we have a very special guest, R&B singer. And he's got a lot to his credit. He's worked with, first he started singing background for Casey and JoJo, Kelly Rowland. He also wrote with the R&B singer Tank. Did some work with artists like Chris Brown, Jamie Foxx, Snoop Dogg, Carrie Hilson, and Keisha Cole. Ladies and gentlemen, we have R&B singer, producer, songwriter Lonny Bereal here on Deeper Than Music Radio. How you doing?
Yeah. I'm good, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Oh man, hey, thank you for being out here, man. Thank you for taking the time to come out and be here and let us get your story here on Deeper Than Music on this Friday. Yes, and I'm looking, man, you got a lot of credits to your name, man. I mean, you not only do you write, you produce, you sing, you do background vocals. Let me ask you a question. When did you know that you wanted to be involved in music?
You know what? I think it's something that just happened to me at some point. Music was always something I could do. And the Bereal family is a very musical family that I had no choice but to be around the music as a child. But, you know, I kind of tried to stray away in my teenage years and wanted to play ball and, you know, wanted to major in business and do some different things. But music just kept calling me, and it was something I couldn't get away from. And eventually one day I went on ahead and submitted to the call of music, and it became my career before I knew it, and it became assignments after assignments. And, you know, I'm just having fun now. You know, it's been a lot to happen in my career, a lot I've done, and I didn't expect to be who I am today, and it's a blessing. And I'm just looking forward to the next thing and the next thing and just keep going, you know, now that I understand who I am and what I'm great at and continue to give the fans what they loving.
Yeah, that's what's up, man, because I see you started off as a drummer, and I like how you said that, you know, you wanted to do other things, but your calling music kept coming up, and and that's with a lot of people. You know, you got to stay true to what you do, and eventually, you know, those synergies will bring things together. So I know that you're a songwriter, a producer, and you also did backing vocals. What is your signature sound? What is that Lonny Bereal sound?
You know, I'm really, I thought about that today, and it's ironic that you asked me. I'm like, you know, I'm traveling with 7th Streeter today, and I was asking her what is that sound over time, because she's known me for so long. And Neyo has actually sat down with me and said, Lonny, you have a sound. I can hear when you wrote a song, when you were he said, I can hear when you just was in the room to influence a song. If I hear it on the radio, he said, I don't even have to look at the credits. I know your signature sound. And
wow,
over time, I've gone back and listened to a lot of the music I've done and whatever influence I've had on different artists as a vocal producer and things like that. And, you know, I'm actually wondering what is that sound, because I like to be so versatile that you don't know what I did. You know, I like to write pop. I like to write gospel. I like to write R&B. I like to get in the country. You know what I'm saying? And so whatever that sound is that these artists feel like I have, you know, maybe the fans could tell me, you know, once you go and listen to all of the things that I've done and the hits and things like that, whatever similarities. I know that I have a style vocally, you know, of perfection. And, you know, I was taught by some of the best, you know, Harvey Mason, Eric Dawkins, Tank, all of the best vocal producers you can imagine, and some of the vocalists you can imagine that I was trained by and developed by while I was singing background, while I was writing songs. You know, I was being trained by different legends. I'm still wondering what is signature sound myself, because coming from the Bible of Love, and then if you go back into some of the other hits I've had, like Strip and Please Don't Go, and I Can Transform You and Wet the Bed, and it's just like I'm not sure what they have in common as far as sound, but I just know that I love making music. I'm a perfectionist, and I like tailor making the suit or the dress depending on the artist.
I like that, and you know what? It's cool that you don't pigeonhole yourself to a sound, because then you know what I mean? If you keep it versatile, I always believe that you have to keep things multifaceted to keep it fluid. Like some people, like you said, some people have such a signature sound, you can hear it and like, okay, I already know that's such and such, that's going to be such and such. And even the songs that you listed with your credits, they're all different. They all have a different flavor to them. So my next question is, can you give us a step through the journey of how you went from a drummer to a background singer to like, can you give us that resume, that story behind the music to where you are now?
What's crazy is, as a kid, I was that kid that they used to force to sing, that kid that would be in front of the crowd crying and singing at the same time because he didn't really want to be up there, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
older I got, I got some sticks in my hands because I thought that was a cooler thing to do. I said, if I become a musician, my mom or my aunties, the powers that be can't make me sing. I'm going to be on these drums.
Oh, okay.
And, I'll never forget playing the drums was how I made my money in my teenage years, and how I took my girls out, how I, got my Jordans or whatever I wanted to do without my parents. And I'll never forget, there was a church that was paying me weekly to play. And there was an afternoon service that the church I was playing for, they had to go visit another church. And when I arrived to the service, they had a messenger come to me and said, Lonny, Pastor Sims wants to know if you'll actually sing today instead of play, because our lead singer isn't going to make it, and you're the only other person Pastor trusts to lead.
Wow. Okay.
I look back at the lady because I'm still Joe Cool, you know what I'm saying?
Behind the drums, okay.
And I look at the lady, I said, well, look, I had my snare in my hand, my stick bag. I was dressed like the musician, like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't dressed to get up there. And I looked at them and I said, you tell the pastor that I came to play the drums, and that's what he pays me to do. So that's what I'm on. And I'll never forget, that following week, I showed up to the church to play, and I had a girlfriend at that church. And I get to the church that following week, Bible study, and they tell me that the pastor has suspended me indefinitely from playing the drums for being disobedient.
Wow.
And, stories like that I'll never forget, where the music was always tugging at me. People always asking me to sing since I was a kid, and I wanted to run from it. And one day I just put the sticks down and I said, I'm going to sing. I submitted to the call. And my first tour was with John P. Key, a gospel legend. He took me on tour back in '98. And I was a little kid, Then I went from John P. Key to singing background for Teddy Riley and Guy, to traveling with Casey and JoJo. And somewhere in between all that, I met Tank, and we began to write. And I was back and forth singing background. I was out with Brandy, Mario, you name it, Chris Brown, all of these people. I'm traveling with Destiny's Child, Kelly Rowland, singing background. And while I was home, I was actually writing songs with Tank. So I was cheating. And I was going on the road with my computer with CDs. And of course, Tank's amazing voice can sell anything, right?
Oh, yeah, he can. Yeah.
Then I'm working with Tank, and we're cutting records on Dave Hollister, and cutting records on Jamie Foxx, and cutting records on, Chris Brown. And I would get on the road and play these dope unreleased songs. The songs are getting ready to come out. Kelly and Beyonce, they used to listen to my music when they were getting dressed, on the Destiny's Fulfilled tour, and Michelle and, Brandy, different people that I was on buses with. I would just play the music, and I started selling songs while I was on the road, because some of those songs were available. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh, okay, so you like selling them as far as like the product was already written and like here.
yeah, I'm playing them songs with Tank singing. I'm playing them songs with me singing, and they're like really intrigued at his voice, and you know, we writing some great music. And before I knew it, I was selling songs left and right, almost like dealing drugs on the road. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, and I went slowly. I was always like a main vocalist to every artist I work with. It was some type of favor on my life. They always wanted me with them. You know, I ran into a lot of problems with managements and road managers, and the B team is over there, the A team is over here. You don't belong with the A team.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
like,
So they had that separation and stuff.
well, the artist is asking for me. You know, Ruben Studdard is calling me. Kelly Rowland is telling me they want me to come. And so over time, you know, it just became a thing of where even Jamie Foxx and Tank and the different people like that, they were looking for me. So I would try to stick with the B parties and things like that. But the A party always wanted me with them. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
Over time, I went from Lonny Bereal, the background singer, to Lonny Bereal, the musical director, to Lonny Bereal, the songwriter, Lonny Bereal, the vocal producer. I'll never forget Tank, you know, training me how to vocal produce, and I actually learned like working on him. You know, he would ask me, "Is that cool? All right, let me do that over." And then eventually, we started doing a lot of sessions together. Chris Brown, different people we were working with. And Tank would leave and say, "You got it." And I'm like, "Huh? Well, what am I going to do?" Everything I tell you, know what I'm saying? And so, you know, before I knew it, all of these things, I had become all of these things that I didn't plan on. It was just a journey. You know what I'm saying? I was just living and doing what I knew to do, and wanted to be the best at it. And didn't want to tears down. And, you know, it's I'm here now.
And it's awesome because it sounds like it was divine intervention. Like, you know, you wanted to be in the background, but it was like God was like, "Look, this is the talent that you have. I'm gonna put you to the forefront." And then, like you said, it brought you to different layers, man. And you mentioned some heavy hitters in the game, man. And how was that feeling when Tank was like, "You got it," you know, with the vocal?
Man, you know. It was so long ago, but I remember the fear in my heart and actually not wanting to let him down and making sure that everything I had been taught, you know, wasn't a waste of time, or I wasn't letting the artist down, and just making sure that I continued to progress and elevate was so important. There was definitely a nervousness there, stepping out there on that stage by yourself now when you're so used to being a co-star, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, Tank told me one day, say, Lonny, you got to fly. You gotta go ahead and spread them wings and jump out the nest and fly. I can't keep you under my wing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So,
and that's a good look too, for him to see the potential and push you past what you out of your comfort zone. So we actually have two of your songs. Right now I got queued up I'm Still Here, and then we also got your latest single, Gots to Know. So
wow.
I got I'm Still Here queued up. Can you give us a little background on the song? And
wow, I'm Still Here. That's one of my favorite records. That was on a album called The Love Train that I had released on Universal. And when I left the label, that was the song that Favor was on. That was featuring Kelly Rowland. And the label was, you know, a little vindictive and took my album down. But I'm Still Here was a really a song from my heart, you know what I mean? And just self-proclaimed for sure, you know, like I'm still here, really meaning the strength that's necessary, you know, after you taking all these hits and people backstabbing you and, you know, you losing people and losing relationships. And, you know, it's just a part of the journey as you elevate, and you will gain new relationships. You will gain, you know, new work and things like that. So I'm Still Here is just, you know, no matter how much you beat me down, no matter how much you put the wrong perception of me out there, I'm still here. And these people eventually will see the truth that I am.
Okay. So this is speaking to You're Still Here, You're Stronger. And we have it here. We're about to play it now. Lonny Bereal, Deeper Than Music Radio, I'm Still Here.
Yeah.
So many damn mistakes but I still wanna be with you now. And everything I needed to change to make you happy, I'm working on myself every day. So can we fall in love again? Is there any chance for you to see that we can make it through whatever together? Feels like everyone's against me. Sometimes it's hard to stand, but I'm still here. And I'm open, hoping that you come back, praying that you will. I'm still here. And I'm open, hoping that you come back, praying that you will. How many men really stay to face the music? I'm trying to change the views right now. No matter where you are, baby, I will meet you. Hey, there's nothing too much for me to go through if we can fall in love again. And is there any chance for you to see that we can make it through whatever together? Yeah, feels like everyone's against me. Sometimes it's hard to stand, but I'm still here. And I'm open, hoping that you come back, praying that you will. I'm still here. And I'm open, hoping that you come back, praying that you will. There's no reason to waste a leap of faith on me. And a million reasons for you to walk away. But I know that you don't wanna be away from my love. So I hope that you can see. I'm still here. And I'm open, that you come back, praying that you will. I'm praying that you're still here. And I'm open, that you come back, praying that you will.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Lonny Bereal here, Deeper Than Music Radio. I'm still here. Brother, man, that's an anthem right there, man.
Man, I appreciate that, man. That's one of my favorite records. I'm really surprised you had that one.
Oh, hey, well, I had to dig in the archives. But it has that, you could tell, man, it has that vocal. Actually, I was listening to Steve Harvey in the morning show this morning, and rest in peace, Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, and he was talking about like Aretha. If because of Aretha, there wouldn't be no Whitney, there wouldn't be no Mariah, and he's like, back they didn't have technology, you had to sing, and brother, you sang on that song, like you you sang. So before we went on a break, you talked about some of the politics of record labels, and we hear, we all hear about it. Can you tell us your biggest challenge? Like, what were your biggest challenges so far in this industry?
I think that my biggest challenge is that I'm such a personable person. You know what I'm saying? I've always being the background singer, being the drummer, being Lonny Bereal from the Bereal family. I have always been one of those guys that the industry knew. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was artists, executives, and things like that. And that kind of hurt me in the long run because, you know, it gets tough for them to see you for who you're supposed to be versus the common guy that they've gotten to know. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very competitive game as well. So my younger days, I would, you know, I'm a pure heart. I love sharing what's happening in my life with my people. I love celebrating, but I had to learn that everybody's not happy for you. Everybody doesn't want you to win. Some of the people smiling in your face and hugging you are the same people that are trying to block your blessings. And, you know, even just knowing the executives too well, you know what I'm saying, where it kind of hurt the business side of things because they felt like they knew me, but they couldn't see the artist that the fans saw. They didn't take the time to hear the vocalist, you know what I'm saying? They just knew this cool guy named Lonny Bereal that's with everybody, you know what I'm saying? And over time that stunted the growth and hurt some of my situations and, you know.
So was it kind of like like a Kanye West when he was like, they just knew him as a producer and they didn't believe in him as a writer. It was like, oh, Kanye made beats and people would like, okay, we listen to him rap.
Yeah. You know, it's weird because it was like, I always had to prove myself, you know, most of my life. It's like, okay, when I decided to put the sticks down and focus on singing, it was like, can he do that? You know what I'm saying? Then I started getting all of these jobs. But then those background singing jobs turned into me being a featured background singer on everybody's stage where they would give me solos. Every artist I've ever sang for would give me a solo in their show. And their fans would come up to me and say, when is your music coming? And this was when I wasn't even thinking about being an artist. I was just writing, you know what I mean? And over time I said, wow, it's so many of these people's fans coming up to me asking when is my music coming. I gotta give them what they're asking for. But then came the battle of, you know, Lonny Bereal, the vocal producer and songwriter, having to withhold some of these hits that he's given, having to take some of the time that I was giving to them for myself. And that became a battle, you know what I mean? To where once I started putting out my music, a lot of people thought that I sounded like Chris Brown or Tank or Jamie Foxx or all of the people that I was vocal producing and writing for. They didn't know that was my sound in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
You know what that reminds me of? I actually read a Faith Evans book, and I never you remember when Faith first came out? She sounded like Mary J.
Yeah.
And Mary J worked with Puffy, so of course those ingredients went into Faith. And I remember in her book there was a little bit of little animosity, but they kind of got over it. But it's like the same architect that built Mary J built Faith, and then it's like people in the background, they don't know that. Like, look, I'm behind these hits. My DNA is in that what I'm writing and what I'm producing for these cats.
Yeah, man, my DNA is all over those guys' careers, and you know, I've been blessed to work with Kelly Rowland and Keisha Cole and Carrie Hilson, and it was a lot of it was a tough transition. Now, what was the easiest was the stage because I could do a concert. That's you know, whether you want me to play the background singer, or if you want me to take over this stage, I can do that. So then I had to put myself as an artist, and then when Favor hit with me and Kelly at Charlie Billboard, you know, it was like, okay, we got something. You know what I'm saying? I can do this. I really can. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that the songs that I wrote and produced, they worked because they were working for everybody else. Yeah. And it just was a matter of time before I found that one for me. But, you know, over time, I definitely had too much smarts for the game because watching everybody else and what they're going through, I knew what I didn't want to go through. And, you know, I've just been really carrying my career on my own like a baby, making sure that every move is ordained by God is because this music called me.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
every day, what do you want me to do today? You know what I'm saying? And um,
And I think it's cool that you got to see from the background. You got to see, like you said, okay, I don't want this to happen to my career, or I saw this happening and that happened. So you already had the inside scoop before you
yeah,
became an artist.
yeah, man, absolutely.
So, and another question I have: what has been your most rewarding moment so far? I know you got the Grammy nomination for the effort you did with Tank. Was that the pinnacle, or was it another moment that was your most rewarding?
Um, I know Tank. I had the nomination. Please don't go with Tank, but then we returned again with Pleasure P under, and that was really a shock for that to be have a Grammy nomination. Um, Outside of those two, those are the two nominations, and then I Can Transform You at a time when they were trying to blackball Chris Brown.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, I remember that.
I Can Transform You went platinum, and I really, I hold that one dear because, you know, he was down and the world against him, and I decided to stand next to him at a time when nobody was really, really willing to. You know what I'm saying? Just to see that song, be so powerful to break through, even though they tried to blackball it from radio, and it went platinum. That was my first platinum single. So I definitely hold that one dear. Please don't go. I had, my first ASCAP award and a Grammy nomination, so that definitely was special. But I have, different ones that have different meanings to me. You know what I mean? And I'm just looking forward to getting back back
Yeah.
to the.
So what was the difference? Like, what is the difference from being behind the scenes, like whether it be the background singer to being a songwriter to you being up front as being a singer? What are the differences between the two roles? That
Well, when I just gotta sing background, I'm coasting. I'm in autopilot. That's
okay,
just you know what I'm saying. I don't really have to think about that. That's so easy, being all of the schooling and development that I've had. I kind of just take the back seat and color them vocals like I do. You're gonna hear me back there because the voice is distinct and different little tricks I do and have fun back there. But
yeah,
great show. But um, when you asking me to actually be the artist that everybody's coming to see, now I'm gonna give you everything I got. I'm gonna stand in front. I know how to entertain these people. I've learned from the best. Being on tour with Chris and Jamie and Tank and all these entertainers for so many years, being an understudy. I know how to take over a stage at will. At the same time, the road is much different than Lonny Bereal, the songwriter and producer. Because when I'm home in the studio, that's a different thing. When I gotta compose and I gotta pull out vocals and emotions from different artists for it to translate, on this record for the world to love it. It's a lot of pressure. That's more pressure when I have to actually live through an artist versus me actually just doing what I do. But I enjoy it all. Uh, I enjoy it all just as much, equally. You know what I mean? And I can't tell you there's one thing I enjoy over the other. But I'm just enjoying the whole playing field of music, even being an executive producer now. And that's a new chair that I'm sitting in 2018 with this Bible of Love with Snoop Dogg, and looking forward to the next executive producer albums that I'm getting ready to do. And I just don't want to stop. Whatever it is, songwriting, vocal producing, executive producing. If they need me on the road, I'm here for it, man.
oh, yeah. It's like you built, man. You deep. You got your hands in everything, man. And that's a blessing, man. Like you said, it was divine intervention. God was like, "This is what I don't need you behind these sticks. I need you here to do this." Okay,
Yeah.
we after the songwriting, we gonna bring you to the forefront. So now what I got queued up is your latest single, "Gots to Know," featuring Cap G. Can you give us a little rundown on the song before we play it?
Man, Gots to Know featuring Cap G, new single that I dropped and wanted to collab with Cap G. Gots to Know is just basically when you see that baddie, when you see one that you got to have, she got to know it. She got to that she the one. She got to know that she can't have nobody else. She got to know how I feel about her. She got to know I'm coming through when she call. Got to know, man.
Okay, and here we go. His latest single, Lonny Bereal here, Gots to Know on Deeper Than Music Radio.
Hi, this is Jessica Rose, and you are listening to Furious on Deeper Than Music.
See, girl, I've been feeling for you, wanna get my hands on your body. Can't even flip, you got a look on, it don't make no sense. Swear you be leaving me feeling like I just can't go without it. I just can't go without it at all. Baby, no, 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 no. Can't get enough, girl, you know that love like a drug to me. So when I hit you up, girl, you got to know just what I need. And I don't ever wanna let you get a shit to nobody else. So trust me when I tell you, trust me when I tell you, I'ma pull up on your late night, skirting through the red light. When I hit you with the text line, where you at, I'm on the way. You know I'm coming through the gate right. Sweat up, feel like paradise. Good, I had to say it twice. Good, I had to say it twice. You got to know, got to know, got to know, you should know. Already know, got to know, got to know. Got to know, got to know, got to know. You got to know, no.
I want your body, so mine, I'ma sign it. Come on, let's go to the island. Show daddy how you wind it. Wish I could do it all over again, like I could rewind it. No, won't buy you diamonds, but we gon' be shining. I'ma get your leg, put 'em up, yeah. Shot it so flexible. Then we smoking gas from Texaco. Let you meet my family from Mexico. I just be thinking about you when you're not here. We both know that this is ours. Come here, let me whisper in your ear. So good, might drop a tear.
I'ma pull up on your late night, skirting through the red light. When I hit you with the text line, where you at, I'm on the way. You know I'm coming through the gate right. Sweat up, feel like paradise. Good, I had to say it twice. Good, I had to say it twice. You got to know, got to know, got to know, you should know. Already know, got to know, got to know. Got to know, got to know, got to know. You got to know, no. You the baby, you the shit. Everything about you too legit. Ain't no other bitch that fuckin' with you. Got to know that why I'm fucking with you. Got to know what you're sitting on. It's a pot of gold, it's a pot of gold. I'm just saying if you didn't know, baby, now you know, baby, now you know. Yeah, I need this daily. I can't get this shit on my mind. It's nothing short of amazing. You do me so right every time. I just gotta get a credit where credit is due. But credit ain't the only thing I'll be giving to you. You gotta know, I'ma pull up on your late night, skirting through the red light. When I hit you with the text line, where you at, I'm on the way. You know I'm coming through the gate right. Sweat up, feel like paradise. Good, I had to say it twice. Good, I had to say it twice. You got to know, got to know, got to know, you should know. Already know, got to know, got to know. Got to know, got to know, got to know. You got to know, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gots to Know, Lonny Bereal, here, Deeper Than Music Radio. Man, you mentioned so many songs, man. They got so many different flavors and styles. Like this one is totally different from I'm Still Here.
Yeah.
Question, who are your influences musically?
Oh, man. I definitely have to start with John P. Key, who's a gospel legend. Kim Burrell, who's also a gospel legend. Then I studied R. Kelly and K.C. Haley from Jodeci and Joe. Tank.
Oh, yeah, Joe. Yeah, I love Joe.
You know what I'm saying? Tank, Usher. Like, all of those guys had something to do with Lonny Bereal. Like, Fred Hammond. You know, people that I would, when I was a kid, I would rewind their music, rewind runs or whatever I heard, I wanted to perfect my vocal. I would study them, I would rewind it until I got it right.
Oh man, that's good. You studied the greats and perfected your sound. You can definitely tell the vocal abilities are crazy. And it's funny that you mentioned R. Kelly. I mean, that's the only guy I know that had me listening to a 19-minute song. You know what I mean?
I song myself, man.
And it's funny, man, because R. Kelly could make a song about anything, man. I forget what was that hip hopper. It was like 15 parts of that song. Oh, In the Closet.
Yeah, man, In the Closet. I remember that. Yeah.
And then with Joe, man, Joe is All That I Am. That's a classic, man. And it's you named some greats, Tank, and wow, and it's you could definitely hear it in your music, man. You definitely studied the greats, and you also mentioned there's some other ventures that you have as well. I want to talk about Slap House Records and Lonny Tunes. Could you give us a rundown on those businesses that you have?
Well, Lonny Tunes is actually my label that I started a few years ago when I understood, how to play within the business. And Prince tried to teach us a lot of things before he left here. How to own your masters and just maneuver through the business. So I started Lonny Tunes, which is my label. I'm the first artist on that label. I plan on signing a lot more artists and doing a lot more work underneath Lonny Tunes. And I partnered with Slap House, Brian out of Denver. We partnered Got to Know single, and we're looking to do some more things. I got a lot more music. I got an album that I probably could have released by now, but we're looking into strategizing and just making sure that we continue to put out quality music, if it's from myself or whatever artist we decide to do business with. So Slap House and Lonny Tunes is set up for future endeavors. Of course, it's the platforms I stand on now, and we're open. We're looking. I'm looking to develop that next act to write for, to produce for, and when I walk away from the stage as an artist, I still plan on executive producing and writing and producing in the studio. Making sure
doing stuff behind the scenes, because you definitely, man, you progressed and you got what it takes, man. I mean, you named the songs that you had your hands in, and they were staples. And what you said, I didn't think about this about Transformia, was you right. Like Chris Brown was going through some stuff, and that song managed to go platinum. So you got the touch, man. You got it from the background and the foreground. So what inspires you to create, like to get in a creative mood and do what you do?
I just life in itself, it inspires me to create. I'm sitting here talking to you now in this interview, looking at the skyline out here in Houston. Just got off a plane, and I can write a song about anything. You know what I mean? I can read a sign and write about that. I can have a conversation with a friend and write about that. You know what I'm saying? I can hear a commercial and just a line in a commercial, I can write about that. It's just life inspires me. It's almost like if I walk into the studio now, it's almost like, you asking me to do a show. You asking me to sing these songs or to do what I do. You know what I mean? That's pretty easy. That's my job. I can turn it on. You play a beat or we have a conversation about which way you want to go. I'm just gonna show up and get it done. Now the studio is my stage, you know what I mean? And it's just life just inspires me, man. Whatever, people are going through, to help them get through it, to find solutions to problems that the world is going through. To be able to sing it and put it in a song and inspire the next generations to come, that inspires me.
Wow. And the interviews like this, man, they go by so fast, and we only got like 5 more minutes. And again, thank you for being on Deeper Than Music. I got a segment called Music Mondays. I'm gonna put Gots to Be on the rotation. My last question is, what would you give somebody listening to this interview and like, man, I want to be just like Lonny Bereal, I want to do this? What would your advice be to them?
My advice would be, just get to work. Get to work. It's no shortcuts. There's so many undeveloped musicians, so many undeveloped artists that just want to be heard, and they're putting out their undeveloped music too soon, and it's killing their careers before it gets started. It's very important to do your homework. You can't get around it. Don't try to fly off on your talent because it's there. You got to put in the work with the talent. And I've been underneath Beyonce and Jamie Foxx and Chris Brown, all of these hard workers, and they are the best because they work that hard while everyone is asleep. So all I can tell anybody listening that wants to, walk down this road, it's not an easy one, and you just got to believe in yourself and make sure you position yourself correctly to play this game.
Yeah, because it is a game, man. And even in the conversation that we had, you said, you had your ups and downs, and it's very competitive. Yeah. So I got one more question. What does music mean to Lonny Bereal?
Music means to Lonny Bereal, it means everything. Music makes the world go around. Music is where we get together. And when we can't get together nowhere else, we can get together through music, concerts. It's one language, that music. Even if you speak a different language, they understand that music. They turn it on, the spirit of the music, and music, man, is the glue that keeps the world together. When we can't get together.
No, that's true. It's funny. It's funny you say that, man. I remember a Martin Lawrence joke. He was talking about a Michael Jackson, and he's like, Michael's like, I'm jamming in Bucharest. And he's like, you got all these soldiers with like guns and stuff, and they sitting there dancing and jamming the music. And I remember Celine Dion said like Michael Jackson was her motivation to learn English. She loved the music and she wanted to understand it. So where can our listeners hear more of your music? Like, this is shameless promotion time. Where can we hear more about Lonny Bereal? Let us know where we can find you on social media.
Well, I definitely, got a few songs on iTunes. You can always type up Lonny Bereal, and there's going to be some new stuff coming there. But on Instagram, it's @Alonzo, and that's ALONZO. Bereal is like Be Real, B as in boy, EREAL. Alonzo Bereal on Instagram. I got my fan page on Facebook, which is Alonzo Bereal. And then everybody calls me Lonny, of course. So you got the personal page on Facebook, which is Lonny, LONNY, Bereal. And, I'm all over. Snapchat, Alonzo B. So, keep up with me, man. I got some new stuff coming out. A lot of new stuff I'm excited about. I'm going to shock the world again. I'm not done.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I like to kind of handle my social media myself so I can be, personable with my fans and see what they want and what they're looking for and see who I can touch next and see who's going to encourage me as well. You know what I mean? Being in touch with.
So, hey, man, we'll definitely have to follow up. Any new music you have, definitely swing it our way, man. We'll play it on Music Mondays. And Lonny, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come sit with us and give us the story behind your music and your musical career.
I appreciate you, man.
So you heard it here. Lonny Bereal, the story behind the music, and his new single, Gots to Be, here on Deeper Than Music Radio. And this is Furious signing off. Thank you.
Yeah.